Everyone has been enjoying their Valkyrie and of course all the new events that came out inside of Lost Ark over the past few months, but of course there has been some bad habits or of course mistakes that new players have been making, which I think maybe they should correct. So let's go into the first mistake that a lot of new players especially make, and that is just using the base build that you get from the game. So of course if you get started, there is going to be a little button over here on the right that's going to allow you to choose your build, which is going to be either your build 1 or your build 2. But the problem with these builds is, first of all, they're not going to use all the skill points that you actually even have, and second of all, most of the times these builds are actually wrong. They're not caring about what runes you have unlocked, and they're not caring about all the tripods, and sometimes the skills as a whole are just absolutely wrong. So what everyone should do is double check their build. Of course, use yourself websites like Lost Ark Nexus, links on the screen right now, that has builds for every single class in there. Of course, Lost Ark Nexus as well is more of a basic guideline. There's other places you can find builds as well, but it's just so important for you to find and use the right build. I think mistake number 2 is that people that are new especially do not do enough research or testing before they choose their main character. With the events we have right now, and a lot of people do not understand this, it's so important that you're not wasting the events, because these events are not common. It sounds common right now currently because you seem like, oh, we got an event this month, we got an event the month afterwards. Normally it takes 5, 6, or even 7 months for an event like this to come out, and there's normally only one character you can do it on. Getting we get 2 guides to use on the character is insane. We've never seen this before, so it's very important that you're choosing the characters that you really like. So what I would recommend for a lot of people is there is going to be different servers you can play on, and mainly there's going to be different regions. As you can see right here, you can go for EU, West, or Northeast as well. So what you can do in these other 2 regions is you can actually make a character, use the power pass on there, get yourself 1580 right away. Every region has 2 extra power pass, so you can make 4 characters, make them 1580, and then test them out in Trixion and see if you like the builds. Max it out, guys. Max out all the points and just see if you like it. And then once you have yourself your character that you do like, then of course go over to Europe or whatever region you're on, and then make your character here, and then play the one you really want to play. Of course, if you need yourself another one to test out, what you can just do is make another Steam account, and again do the same thing. You can then make another 6 characters, because of course you have another 3 regions to try stuff on. So it's so important you test yourself your character before you choose one. And then of course, helping out, this is going to be tip number 3, and that is going to be that people are currently chasing the meta too much. So I think it's very important that you're choosing something that you like, because there are so many different classes, and the issue with meta chasing, especially right now, is we're gonna get Kezeros, and after Kezeros, we're gonna have ourselves the Arc Grid system. The whole balance we have right now inside the game is gone in a few months. Literally. That doesn't matter. As well, people coming into my streams asking what class should I play, I'm like, I do not care. I do not know, because it doesn't matter, because everything is going to change. It doesn't matter if I say like, oh, Soul Eater right now is really good, or Bard is really good right now, or Slay is really good right now. Doesn't matter. With Arc Grid, everything is changing. And Korea, it's going to take so long for Arc Grid to be figured out that I cannot give any tips, because nobody knows what's going to happen with the future balance. So just my tip is, just try out the classes you think are cool, give them a go inside of other regions. If you like them, then make it inside of the real one and use your events on it, because otherwise you're going to have a big issue. And of course, continuing on, this is going to be my number 4 spot, and that's of course after choosing your main. A lot of people are waiting long by making their alts, or not even making alts. So of course it's very important to have your main character, but then of course it's very important to have yourself 5 other characters to support your main. So of course you're maybe like, okay, I do not want to play these characters yet, but it is very important, guys, to put your characters at least at 1580. Why is it important to put your characters at least minimum at 1580? Super simple. So you can see right now, if I'm going to hone my character, of course it's a very high level character, it requires gold. But every character, if you're going to make it yourself to get it up to 1580, is free of gold. It's just materials, and you've seen I have plenty of videos on the channel how to make my alt and whatever, and it's super simple to make it 1580, and it costs no gold at all. So why do you want alt at 1580? First of all, if you're then even gonna go ahead and do some solo modes, these will actually give you gold as well for your roster, which is absolutely awesome. You can earn like 5 to 10,000 gold every single week per 1580, so you know, times 5, that's gonna be another like 50,000 gold. But the main reason why you want yourself your alts as soon as possible, it's because every alt at 1580 can do Paradise. And Paradise, guys, is so broken. It's insanely broken. So literally getting yourself a 1580 allows you to enter Paradise, and then every week, if you've done one level of Crucible ever, every week you get yourself 3 blue hell keys. And these hell keys, guys, are so insane because they're gonna give you like literally unlimited gold. They're gonna give you blues, reds, sleep zones, shards, everything you need. And mainly, guys, the most OP thing you can get right now from these is going to be the special honing juices, guys. These things are being dropped in insane amounts, and you can just use these to hone your characters literally for free. So even if you normally would, if you needed to use gold to go from 1580 to 1640, with these keys you can literally go goldless, and it's like crazy. I did like last week, I did it on my gun lancer. I went from 1670 to 1680 without using any gold in 1 week, just by free taps. It's so good, guys. So this is why, in my opinion, it's very important to make those alts early, start earning weekly gold from the solo mode raids, and then as well, of course, slowly push them with Paradise keys so they're all ready eventually to push the tier 4 and earn you tons of money every week. But then, of course, every upside has a downside, and that's, of course, if you have yourself a roster, you have yourself a main character, some issues that a lot of people do is push their alts too much, okay? So there is something that's called too much. So currently you can see my roster is kind of a good example for this, but this is all dependent on your financial situation. And the reason is because I have like a 1745, but I have a 1720, 1720, 1721, 1700, okay? This technically is a lot of wasted gold. The best way you should probably have your roster is a max eye level character right here, which I could have by spending the gold. 1680, 1680, 1680, 1680, 1680. You will make the most gold by having your alts at 1680. I know it sounds insane, like alts at 1680, yes, but there's a lot of people that are going to be at this stage or gonna get to this stage, but like overhoning your characters, like going above 1680, or if you're in the first step going above 1640, it's just kind of a waste of gold. So in my opinion, your steps should be like your main character should go to 1680, then you make all your alts slowly 1640 by using the free Paradise, and then eventually, of course, you're gonna move all those alts from 1640 to 1680, and your main goes to like 1720, 1730, 1740, 1750, whatever you want to go to. But that should be the way to go. But try not to overhone your alt, because that gold should be way better used on your main instead. But of course, I will say with that though, take it with a grain of salt. If you like to swipe in this game, if you like to spend money in this game, it's totally fine. You can hone your alts. Or if you like them all equally, you do not care about playing one main, then that's fine as well. But be careful, guys. Try not to thin out the gold too much of your roster. You're gonna regret it in the future. Then my point number 6, and this is mainly for those pesky range people out there. The people that make their range character is their first character. I'm sorry, you're learning bad habits by playing this game as your range character for the first time. The reason for that is that, first of all, range characters have 2 big weaknesses, okay? Weakness 1 is if you stand far away from a target. Let's just say your target is going to be right there, and you're standing far away because you're a range character. You can use range abilities, right? The issue is standing far away from a boss allows you to dodge less frequently. It's going to be harder to dodge everything. The cones are going to be bigger. The circles are going to be more annoying. And you're just going to be slow to dodge most things. You'll see if you're a ranged character, you're going to be on the floor quite a lot more than if you be playing a melee character because of just simple mathematic angles. So that's first thing. Second thing why, in my opinion, ranged characters have a big disadvantage is because of 2 different supports. That is Bard and that is Artist. Because Bell and Female Valkyrie, of course, have the buffs that are directed at people, but Artist and Bard both have a circle that needs to be placed on the boss for half of their duration of buffs. And if you're not standing in this circle, you're not getting any bonuses. So what happens, of course, if people like to play far range, it's hard to dodge for them. They're on the ground often. And then, of course, once their Bard or their Artist places the buffs on the boss, you do not get any benefits because you are out of range. So this is why I see a lot of new people that are in my learning range and that especially are Sorks doing very low damage because of those two reasons. They cannot dodge, they are on the ground often because they cannot dodge because the cones are a lot bigger, and they cannot see the boss often either as well because they're dead far away. And then number 3 is that they have low buff percentages because they are not standing in the buffs. So take this big tip from me as someone has played this game over 10,000 hours. If you're a ranged character, it does not exist. You play next to the boss. If this is the boss right here, this Sork, you are just literally staying as close as you are a melee character, okay? The only way when you're gonna be a ranged character is if the boss does something that everyone should move away from the boss, and then you can still hit it. But if you are not in that situation, you move back up and you DPS as close as you can, okay? That's the biggest tip and the biggest mistake I see every ranged player make that is new inside of this game. Speaking of new players, of course, another thing that's very important, and again will be explained on your Lost Ark Nexus build, is going to be your right rotation. So many people are just spamming every button in random orders and they just do not know what they're doing. They're just spamming this, spamming that, and then what's gonna happen is they're gonna lose a lot of damage, or they're maybe just not even gonna activate some hidden things that are in abilities, because a lot of people just do not read. Yes, it's true, a lot of people do not read what their abilities actually do. Like, is this a counter, is this a stagger, is this a weak point? You know, like a lot of people that are new in the game do not know. So please read your abilities, do know what your rotation is as well, and especially for supports, guys, the 2 buffs do not stack, okay? So the 2 buffs do not stack, so you have to cast them individually after each other. So you have to know that if you are casting spell A, then you have to wait for spell A to run out. So let's just see right here, some of you spell A, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. So once this second is gonna be almost at 0, I'm gonna press the next button and it's gonna start giving me the next one, okay? It's very important to keep this going because otherwise your uptime will be very low, okay? So it's very important, especially as new player, learn that rotation. It's super interesting. And then of course, by learning your rotation, we have something else that's very important if you really want to improve, and that's going to be a DPS meter. So here we have ourselves our DPS meter. If you're gonna fight yourself the bosses, you're gonna see everything that's gonna be happening, and then of course every log is saved. So you're going to be able to see, like, if you're going to go ahead, you can see, okay, I did this, I did like this amount of buff, I did this amount of brand, I did this amount of Z buff, self buffs, whatever there is, you know, you can see everything that's happening, how much damage your classes are doing, how much your abilities are doing, and it's so important for if you want to improve what you can work and focus on. So I think like getting a DPS meter is, in my opinion, very nice. It can turn into something maybe a little bit too sweaty for people that didn't want it, but I did want to offer it for people that do like it. So just Google the name right here, you'll be able to find it, and this allows you to just see your own DPS, to know what you're doing, to know how much uptime you have, and try to improve yourself so you have enough damage to clear the raid. And this of course is what ties into the minimum boss damage requirement, because a lot of people seem to not know what they actually need to do. So we of course have ourselves a nice little cheat sheet that shows every single bit of damage you need to do for every raid inside the game. Let's just go, for example, to Barrel Shots on normal mode. So that's going to be the most people's their first group raid they're going to do. So if you know your damage from your DPS meter, you can then look at the damage requirements. So these damage requirements are without sidereals in mind. So sidereals, of course, on average, are going to do around 10% damage per raid. So you can just kind of keep that kind of stuff in mind. So you need to know, like, if you are playing normal raids or Guardians or whatever, and you are doing around 40, 50, 60 million, you probably can do the same thing inside of the raids. But if you're not reaching those levels, then you probably have no chance of actually reaching those inside of the raids instead. So it's very important to know those numbers to be able to be like, okay, am I actually just contributing to the raids, or am I, you know, just being a bother right now, or should I maybe double check something or change my gear, or be like, okay, maybe I need to practice my rotation, because for example, for hard mode barrel, you need a lot more damage than you suddenly need for normal mode. So it's very important and interesting to know, of course, how much you're doing and how much you need to do if you're taking on these raids, because of course we have some stuff like combat power, but it doesn't say that much in my opinion. So it's very useful in my opinion important to know these numbers and to know what you're doing yourself together with the DPS meter. And of course, tying that something into the next pointer once again as well, and that is when you're hopping into a group raid, it's very important, in my opinion, to do one of two things, okay? So option one, if you're entering a group raid for the first time, watch a guide. Wow, I know it's a very hard thing, right? Watch a guide. It's so important when you're going to a group, especially Belshazzar or Mortem, that you have watched a guide beforehand. Or if you do not want to watch a guide, that's fine as well. Then please join a learning lobby. Okay, these do exist. If they aren't there, you can make one yourself. It will probably fill up, but it's very important to either watch a guide and join a lobby. Of course, do not join a homework lobby or anything like that. Just join something that is like just called like gate 1, gate 3 or something like that. Do not join title lobbies because you don't have a title, which is times 10 clears. Do not join a homework lobby because that means it's a lobby that people know what they're doing and they just want to get their weekly grade out of the way. But if it's like a normal one like this one right here, 1-3 DPS, doesn't have really big requirements. If you have watched and studied the guide, you could join this one as well. But I would always heavily recommend a learning lobby instead before you go ahead and really go into the reclears. Putting the raids a little bit to the sides, another big thing that I see a lot of people struggle with is that the second they reach 1680, that they're not upgrading their accessories to full ancient. Of course, if you're using the passes right now, you get yourself a free set, which is very, very nice. But a lot of people are actually not getting these accessories, and I see very often that they're not upgrading everything, including the bracelet. So of course, I have a few tips for these because these can be very expensive, especially for Fions. So first of all, right now, of course, from Paradise, every single week you get yourself your hell keys. These have accessory chests, which drop really high quality accessories, which if you upgrade them to the max, you can use. Drop bracelet chests as well. So definitely use those two methods to fund your character and get yourself 1680 accessories right away. Of course, if you need more shards, do your dailies. Otherwise, as well, right now from the Frog shop, there's going to be these luminous gem shard pouches, which are very, very, very good. In the special shop, these are here as well. And these give you tons of shards and allow you to easily get yourself a full set of accessories. Of course, if you are not stuck on enough Fions, you can just buy them off the market, buy yourself mid-rolls, and you should be good. But it's very important to get these things as soon as possible. And of course, if you're a little bit stuck on money, then make sure to do my next tip, because I see a lot of people that are not doing enough life skills or crafting. So of course, if you go ahead and see every single day, you get yourself some life skill energy, and you can use this to use on logging, hunting, whatever you want to use it on, which will make you either money or of course can make you Aureas inside of your stronghold. So if you go to your stronghold, you can craft stuff in there, make some money, or at least just process the materials you have into Abydos so you can use them or sell them at a later date, which is something that you should be doing, guys. Every 2 days, do your life skilling. And of course, when you've done your life skilling, you've done your raids and stuff, it's time to focus on some horizontal content. So of course, using and getting yourself every single skill point potion, guys, it is 100% required for every single player out there. So you have to get every single skill point potion, guys, no matter what it is, small, big, every single one of them, you will have to grind. And if you're not doing it, you're going to lose on so much damage. Please, guys, for the love of your future gameplay, use and get every single skill potion. Nowadays as well, it's so much easier than it used to be, so just grind these out. The same with the enlightenment point potions, guys. These are the same thing. There's only 4 of them. I have a full tutorial how to get every single one of them on the channel, so go grind these. It is needed and required for you to go ahead and get yourself every one of these before you get into the end game. And last but not least, I think this is my biggest tip, and that is going to be a lot of new players are too focused on getting to the end game and etc. too fast. It is not a race, guys. You do not have to catch up with everyone. Everyone is thousands of hours ahead of you and has spent more than 1, 2, 3 years more worth of gold from every raid on their characters. So if you're a new player, just take a chill, enjoy your events, get everything up there, just try out stuff, try out build, try out characters, and just slowly progress on your own. And once you get yourself to those group raids, make a learning party, join a learning party. You do not have to get the Mortem day 1, week 1, go into hard mode, clear everything, know everything. it's all good, guys. Take it chill and just, you know, enjoy the game, because it's like Arcadia is a beautiful game, guys. And like the World of Lost Ark is absolutely amazing. So go give it a go, explore it, and then of course later on, when you've done everything and you're happy, you can finally move on to those raids, and maybe you have a cool roster as well full of 1640s to earn yourself some gold. And that's it, guys. That, in my opinion, is the 13 mistakes or bad habits that a lot of new players have inside of Lost Ark. Let me know what you guys think, and of course, if there's things I maybe am missing, in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon for another video. Take care.